What is up? What is up?
Howdy ho.
Howdy ho. Howdy ho, neighbor.
Howdy.
What are you doing?
Oh, me? Just
Yeah.
I'm like a piece of bread, and I'm just sitting in a bowl, soaking up life. You know? Yeah. What are you doing?
I don't know what you're trying to sell here, but
Yeah,
whatever.
a lot of you.
I'm being sore is what I am. I'm sore because I am doing so much electrical work in the shop and all of it makes me sore. Which is good, I guess, but it is coming along nicely and it looks badass. That's all that matters. So
Well,
yeah,
what's the old saying? No pain,
no
no
gain.
gain. There it
Exactly.
is. Yeah, that was a great shirt.
Yeah. I will tell you that when you're trying to shove wire through conduit,
Yeah,
and before anybody goes, oh no, you pull wire through conduit. Yeah, you can't you got to do both. So,
yeah,
yeah. And of course, I have very particular, complicated, thing I'm doing. So, but it
yeah.
looks lovely and it's going to be badass. So
That's all that matters. If the end result is what you wanted, then hey, win.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. 100%. Um, so we have a bunch of things to talk about today. Like the biggest thing, and everybody's been talking about the last couple weeks is, Bandamere, because Bandamere is closing and it was the last national event and blah blah blah.
Yep.
So that was a big deal.
Yep.
We have some other track closure news that I think we're going to be able to talk about, and a few other things. But also want to talk about some projects. You and I are dumb, and we can't help ourselves.
Yeah.
I always tell people I own a few pair of shoes, but really, everybody knows flip-flops are like 99% of the time, right?
Sure.
So I'm not a shoe buyer. Instead, I collect project cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I whether it's smart or not doesn't really matter. I tell people all the time, I am not going to be the guy that talks you out of buying a project. I mean, if you want me to tell you whether it's good or bad, then I will. But generically speaking, I'm really not the guy that talks people out of making poor financial decisions when it comes to car stuff. So,
Me neither.
So yeah, I'm an enabler. How's that?
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely an enabler. I'm basically a pusher man.
Yeah.
I will deliver you to the goodness.
Yeah.
And I will watch you drown in your own misery.
Oh, I'm so with you. I am so with you. Want to say hello to everybody this evening. Sorry. Neil Sabo in the house. What up? Neil and I were just talking about ice cream, which is funny since I'm on a diet, but not for the reason you would think. DeSquanch in the house, Perry Ford in the house, Chris Skidmore, Gabriel B, Perry Ford, Atco. Yes, Atco is one of the things we are going to talk about as well. So there are a few things that have been in the news lately with regards to racing, and we'll cover a few of them. But is there anything you wanted to talk about this week that you had on your mind?
Well, I want to officially thank you. We haven't got to do this in a minute for all the hard work and help you put in to help me get my car to my birthday race.
Hell yeah!
I just wanted to tell you it was a blast. I had a lot of fun, and I appreciate every ounce of energy and help that you provided for that ordeal.
It was fun. We slept very little.
Very little.
Very little. We watched the sun come up, not once but twice while working on that thing, and it was awesome. It was good. I'm glad I could help, dude. I'm glad I could help.
Yep.
I'm sorry that we didn't get to be as fast as we wanted.
Yeah.
You know, when you're talking about, for those of you that didn't watch Ryan's video, you need to go check it out. But the unfortunately, the bead of silicone that we put, and it was me, I put this one, the bead of silicone that I put on the front China wall on the block it squished, but it did not seal to the intake manifold, just one little spot, and it leaked oil, which slowed us down for the night, which sucked. But the motor was happy and it was working great and all those things. So that was all that mattered. So
it's all that mattered.
And big burnouts were had.
Oh, huge burnouts. Yeah. It's probably part of the reason why it happened. It's fine. It's
maybe. It's fine. It's totally fine. If you're not doing big burnouts, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion.
I can't stand it when I see a car pull into the burnout box and they barely turn them over. It just drives me. I get it. No,
I don't get it. I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. It's not good.
Yeah.
So everybody that's tuned in, though, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Again, we're going to be talking about racetracks tonight. We're going to be talking about project cars. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. If you do not follow Ryan on Streetcar Chronicles yet on YouTube, you need to do that for sure. And if you are not a subscriber on Bang Shift's YouTube channel, you should be. My YouTube channel will also be pushing some videos before too long. So you'll want to subscribe to that one, and we'll let you know on that when it comes time. But I will be starting to film some stuff for that, Thursday. So, also, I'll remind you of this later when we talk about this project, but around-ish 2 p.m. on Thursday, Central Time, I'm going to go live on the bangshift.com YouTube channel from Nobody Else's Auto, which is an epic wrecking yard in Kansas where I will be picking up my new project. So you want to mark your calendars, pay attention for the We Are Going Live notification. It should be right around 2 p.m. on Thursday. So that's going to be fun for sure.
Sweet.
So yeah. Fun times going to be had by all, I promise you.
So I assume because of that plug, we're not going to learn about what this project car is until then.
I don't know. I was gonna, but I'm not sure, and I've been debating. So I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think you should turn it into a game.
Oh, okay.
Give us a few hints, and everybody takes a guess. We'll see.
Neil knows what it is, and so does Wickman. So they can't say.
They can't play.
They can't play. Do you have a picture of your newest project?
Oh shoot! Yeah.
Send it to me on Messenger.
Yeah.
And I will open it up and put it on screen so you can tell people the story of your project. Okay. We might as well do that right now. And then we'll go into racetracks, and then we'll go into my project. How's that?
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Okay.
I will send it to you right now.
Okay. just as a FYI, like Ryan really should have what am I trying to say here?
$1 million.
No. You have almost less business getting more project cars than I do.
I do.
Almost. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. You make more money than I do probably, so maybe it's smarter for you. I don't know, but
I have 2 young kids who drain it, so not
yes,
really.
that's true. Okay, but here the Mike Honcho 78 Malibu, big block, tunnel ram, twin Holly Sniper EFI system on it. It's badass. It's getting nitrous very soon. All kinds of funness going on there. He has a 55 Chevy gasser that's chop top gasser that has been sitting for 1 million years and needs a bunch of work to get, finished and back up and running and all those things. And then this happened.
Yeah, well, okay. So, okay.
Okay.
So I had the gasser. I no longer have the gasser.
Oh, you got rid of the gasser.
The gasser's gone. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. So
okay. Keep filling
right.
in. I got to turn the lights on.
Yeah, you're good. So okay, I bought this 55 gasser. I've been trying to get it for 4 or 5 years. The guy was like your typical dude. I want to sell something, but never want to respond to anybody. And the price was 10, then it was 7, then it was 10, then it was 8, and it would post up like every 6 months. And I would try to go and get a hold of the guy. I could never get a hold of him. So fast forward to November last year, I messaged him again when I saw it up for sale. The price had dropped, and I said, "Hey, I've been trying to get this car. Can I come and get it, or at least take a look at it?" And he's like, "Yeah." He responded. I was like, "Sweet." It took him a week and a half to call me after I gave him my phone number to set up a time to go look at it. And I went and got it, and I've learned a little bit of the history of it, and it was awesome. It was great. It was cool. The problem was when I set it in my shop, when I got out here to where we just moved, I started trying to get my creative wheels moving on what I wanted to do with the car. And when you find something like that, there's 2 ways you look at it. One, I don't want to touch it because it's an archive. Basically, it's a fossil, and I just want to get it running again and leave it the way it is and just enjoy it. Then the other part of me is like, dude, that's not preserving the car. That's just letting it continue to rot away. And realistically, when you looked at all the shoddy body work on it that had been done back in the 70s with plastic filler, like one time the car is going to wad the tire up and shake the tire, and Bondo's going to be all over the track, and the track's going to kick me out. So as much as I went back and forth on it, I could not figure out what I wanted to do with the car, and it was driving me insane. And this guy, I posted it up for sale because I was like, you know what, I'm going to put it up for sale. If I get money for it, I'll put it in the Malibu, and Jake says 10.
Yeah.
And man, I put it on there, and I kept getting all these people just, hey, I tried to get that car 4 years ago. Hey, I tried to get that car 2 years ago. Hey, that guy wanted less money than what you're wanting. And I was like, dude, no, he didn't. Fought the mess. Then this guy messaged me and says, hey, I tried to get the car 4 or 5 years ago. Couldn't ever get a hold of the guy. Would you be interested in a 67 Chevelle? So I was like, okay, that's my kryptonite. And the reason why that's my kryptonite is because the very first car I ever built was a 1967 Chevelle. I bought it when I was 15 years old. It blew up on the way home. I got completely taken to the bank. It was a pile of shit. It was rusted, rotted. I didn't know what to look for. It was bad. And when I got home and finally opened up the trunk and saw all the fiberglass work that had been done, it was just a pile. And I built it back, got it running again, and I enjoyed it. And I raced it a lot. Well, I made the mistake of taking my mom for a ride one time in the car. And I was 16, and she hated it. And then fast forward about 6 months later, I was racing the car, and I broke the rear end, right? And so I was going to go visit my dad in Tennessee for a couple of weeks, and I parked the car at work. When I came back from vacation, my car was gone.
No.
And so I thought somebody had stolen my car, and my mom sold it out from underneath me.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
She sold it, and I was livid, and she said, I was afraid you were going to kill yourself in it, so I sold it. And she sold it for what I paid for it. And it had when she sold it, it had a 410 cubic inch small block in it with dart heads.
No.
It had a built turbo 400 with a converter. Yeah, I had a lot of nice stuff that I'd.
She didn't ask anybody, so she had no idea.
She didn't care.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Did you ever find out who it was that she sold it to?
This is where the plot thickens. So when that happened, immediately I was like, I've got to find my car. And I searched high and low because, car guys, we're all one and the same, right? We're like a giant chain. Right?
Yeah.
But, obviously we didn't have like Facebook and all these things that we have back, back then that we have now. Right. So, it was much harder. It was a lot of, hey, if you ever see the Chevelle, this is what it looks like. Hey, let me know, blah, blah, blah. Well, I looked for that car for 6 years and never found it, never heard anything about it. I've been getting some race gas from my Nova one day, and there's a 67 Chevelle sitting inside of Speed Tech that's torn down, essentially sitting there like this, but in all primer.
Right.
And I told my buddy Clayton, who was getting me gas, I said, man, that was my first car. I had a 67 just like that. And he goes, yeah. And I was like, yeah. I said, man, it's pretty cool. And I was looking at it. My car was a bench seat car, and there was a bench seat sitting out front of the car against the bumper, and it was red interior. It was black with red interior, and I hated the red carpet because it was nasty. So me being 15 or 16 years old, I went and bought dye and just started dyeing the carpet.
Right.
Well, I didn't take the seat out, so I got dye all over the bottom of the seat. Well, I was looking at the seat and I was like, mine had dye on the bottom of the seat too. And he goes, really? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, mine had the bumpers on a 67, they step in, right?
Yeah.
And in that turn, there was some surface rust on the right side of my bumper. And I was like, man, my bumper had surface rust just like that. And I was like,
yeah.
No. Well, on the right A-pillar at the top was a giant rust hole. You could stick your finger through it into the outer skin. And I walked around the side of that car, stuck my hand there, and stuck my finger in the hole. I was like, this is my car. And he's like, no way. And so I started looking it over closer and closer. I was like, oh, my God, this is my car. And so I was like, whose is it? And he goes, Ruben's. And Ruben was the manager of Speed Tech, and he was the most hated dude there. He was a jerk to everybody. And so I walked in there, and I was like, Ruben, what do you want to do with that Chevelle? And he goes, I've had it for 6 years. What? I was like, you're the guy who bought it? God. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I want my car back. And I made the mistake of being too excited about it. And he said I could have it back for $5,000. And I was like, okay, I'll bring you the money. And so I go back a couple days later, and he said, I thought about it. I want $8,000.
No, what a douchebag.
Yeah, I was like, screw you. Shove it up your ass. Enjoy it. So he ended up LS swapping it and doing all kinds of stuff back when that was a new thing. This is like an 04, 05, maybe something like that. And anyway, he LS swapped it. Thought he was going to get like $40,000 for it. And he covered up all the rust on the car. Had somebody do some cheap body work on it, painted it white. Then put it on eBay and had a couple of people come in from out of state, and they laughed at him when they looked at the car, and basically said they wasted their time.
Right.
So he ended up selling it for like $16,000 complete, which I would have, paid him $5,000 for it rolling. So
yeah,
essentially this car is like my kryptonite. And so when he said, he had this, I went out to go look at it, and I could see, I knew where all the bad spots were now. I'm a little smarter and wiser. So I was like, what does it look like, from the B pillars back? And he's like, it's got all new floors, the frame's been sandblasted and powder coated. It's got all new suspension, front and rear, tubular suspension, all new brakes and brake lines, disc brakes up front, 12 bolts been redone, 391 posi. And he's like, I have a ton of parts to go with it. The trunk pan's been replaced, rear body pan's been replaced, inner and outer wheelhouses. It just needs the quarter panels put on it. They've been cut loose in the back, but they haven't been finished.
Yeah.
And so I went and looked at it, and it is what he said it was. And so I traded him the 55, and I got me a Chevelle.
You just traded him straight across.
We went straight across.
Nice.
Yeah. And, he likes vintage stuff. He races a super gas Corvette, and he has a couple of old school 60 style, like super stock cars. And so he's going to revive that thing, and he's got a 565 that he's going to put in the 55. So nice. He's already rocking and rolling on it. So,
well, good for him.
Yeah.
So, okay, so this 67 Chevelle,
Mm-hmm.
driver's side front fender looks okay.
Yep.
Door looks okay. Rockers look okay.
Yep.
Quarter panel junk, obviously.
Yep.
It was a vinyl top car originally, I'm assuming.
No.
No.
No
Okay.
vinyl top.
The hood looks like it's maybe newer.
It's a new hood, new deck lid, new core support.
Yeah.
What else? I got brand new quarters and upper cell panels with it.
Oh, nice.
Full quarters. Dash was a little rotted. Got a new dash for it. It's not installed, but firewall's been replaced. Like they did everything. Like they did the firewall, the floors, all the way throughout the car. It needs some finished welding, but it's got all the CCP or CPP tubular front suspension on it.
CPP. Yep.
Yeah.
They make nice stuff. That's good.
Yeah. So it's got a lot of.
So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna make it into just a fun cruiser?
Oh, dude. Okay. So I'll tell you my problem, and my problem is probably the same as anybody else who's a car guy.
Yeah.
My first instinct is I want to finish the car the way I always wanted to finish mine. First.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And then you start really thinking about things, and I think of two different ways. Like I'm looking at it from a content standpoint.
Yeah.
And a content standpoint, I do not like a lot of build videos. Like that's not my forte.
Right.
I try to do them here and there, but it's just not my forte. So I'm thinking about forcing myself to learn how to do it better. But I have a couple of series that I want to do in my head. I've been talking about it for almost 2 years now, and this would be a perfect car for that. But on the flip side, it is going to be an insane amount of money to finish it. So
yes,
I'm kind of at a crossroads.
So it's long term.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially right now the S10 is on the forefront of my mind. I'm going to fix a couple of things with the Malibu, the G body, and we're going to focus on Jake's truck because I want to get Jake's truck done because I want him to start doing the Young Guns deal.
Yep.
I want to get him into Rocky Mountain Race Week.
Yep.
And so we're going to start preparing for that. This thing's going to sit on the back burner for a minute until I figure out what I'm doing with my life. But me and my brother-in-law Cole, we did paint body for a living for a long time, and we were really good at it. And me and him have been talking about doing a series called Two Bros Restos, and maybe doing some build stuff and
that'd
actually
be awesome.
And cutting it up and doing some things.
Why not?
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, so that's just kind of in the works. I'll figure it out eventually, but it's not going anywhere. It's secured. It's got a title. I got a title in my hand. It's my car.
Nice.
And I'm excited.
And your mom can't sell it.
Can't sell this one. Can't sell this one.
Wow.
Yeah,
I still can't get over that.
That one hurt. That one
hurt.
hurt.
My God. I mean, wow.
I understand it. I mean, my mom went through a lot of tragedy with her sister, so
right.
Me being an only child, I get her mindset, but man, was that a painful process.
Yeah, I'll bet. Whew.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you got this thing. I think it'll be fun. I can't wait. It'll be a good time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And of course I will, help any way I can. So,
dude, I'm excited. I see some late nights and some fun stories.
Oh God, yes.
Some
collaboration going on. I think you're gonna need to maybe build a rotisserie, and I happen to be the guy for that to help you do that.
Good.
Yeah.
Good, because yes, I would like to do that because I'd like to pull the body back off the frame and.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Since the frame's nice, you don't want to do everything while it's on it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's cool. Well, you've sent a bunch of other photos of this thing too. I guess I should share those because it really, it's a good project car. I mean, it really is. So, okay, hold on. Let me see. So here we go. Let me show the other photos.
I don't know if I sent you any of the inside, but it's
Oh no, you got enough.
Okay.
So quarters for sure, sail panels. It looks really bad because the quarters are all flopping off of the thing because they've already been cut off. on the bottom, but that's because they redid the trunk floor and everything, and they wanted
Yeah.
to put it where it needed to go. So the rest of it looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah. So up in you'll see in the left cell panel there was some rust they cut out.
Yep.
But luckily, the quarter sections that I have the piece that go all the way up to the roof seam. So
Nice.
yeah, so I can.
Which, if you're not familiar, is up here in a
Yes.
Chevelle. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's got a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good. I dig it. Oh yeah, you did. You have Honcho in here too. I didn't
No.
realize that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I dig it. I'm excited.
Yep.
I think it'll be good. My uncle had a '67 Chevelle. It was a 300 Deluxe, so it was a post car.
Yeah.
It was an NHRA stock eliminator car. Set a bunch of national records with it. Had a 275 horse 327 Power Glide combo in it. Ran deep in the 11s
Yes.
with a quadrijet and the whole deal. And so I dig those. His was a bench seat car, the whole deal, black. It was awesome. But
Yeah.
it's
great.
Let's see. Jet Black says rotate the car while painting. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just stand there and spin it, and he can just hold the gun on. It'll be fine. It'll totally
Way
be
fixed.
fine. Oh my god, that would be a really funny test to try and paint a car like that. We could do it with the Civic.
Hey, I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
How fast do you need to spin it in order to get that? That would be awesome. Oh my god, I love it. I love it.
We paint the windows too, bud.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just put WD on them first, and then it'll wipe right off. It'll be fine. Okay, so racetracks. Bandamere again. Everybody's been talking about Bandamere closing. Somehow, a lot of the world didn't realize that was happening. I don't know how.
Right.
If you are not familiar with Bandamere, I've raced there a bunch. The Bandamere family actually owns not just the racetrack, but they own everything one exit to the other. And the racetrack's been under a curfew for several years now, but they have been building apartments and condos and townhouses right across the freeway from the racetrack. And as those neighborhoods have gotten more and more finished and they keep getting closer and closer, obviously everybody knew the writing was on the wall. Now, I'm not sure when they agreed on the deal on the property, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was, honestly, a year or more ago. The deal is for a ludicrous amount of money because it is a ludicrous amount of space. Now, my understanding is that that the property may be in the short term used to actually house new cars and what have you in the short term. But make no mistake, this is not a racetrack that's going to still be sitting there for 10 years. Like, that's not what is happening here. This racetrack is going to end up being houses. It's in a beautiful area with an amazing view. It's going to be houses, and if I know anything, it is that the houses that will be up in the upper pit area, or what is the upper pit area now, will be big, giant houses on bigger lots worth, millions of dollars. So, the Bandamere family has made a ton of money on this deal, or is going to. And they are, they're great people. I love them to death. I think very highly of them. I think a lot of how they run their racetrack. The facility there is amazing. Senior has already said they are buying property and building another racetrack. Okay, so the plan, and they are not making this public yet, but I think I can say this without anybody getting mad at me, is, and the reason this is important, because they have had a couple of pieces of property that they wanted to buy. In fact, in an area that I prefer compared to where they are going to be. But They couldn't build there because there are oil and gas pipelines that run under the property. And while those are down like, 10, 15, 20 feet, whatever, which would never be an issue in any normal thing, the Bandemiers want to recreate Bandemere. So wherever they build, they are going to dig the racetrack down so that it has a downhill staging lanes, uphill shut down, and so that one side of the racetrack is the grandstands are built onto the side of the hill, just like it is now. So
That's cool.
It will feel very familiar, when they do build it. Now, they have assured everybody that it will be open 2 years from now. So they will miss the 2024 national event, but that it will be open for the 2025 NHRA national event. The Mopar Mile High Nationals will happen at a Bandemere Speedway. So that's the word. I am sad that it's, going away. I'm thankful that I've got to race there a bunch. But I'm not like crushed, because again, there still will be a racetrack. Right now it looks like that's going to be out near the Denver airport, which is on the east side of Denver, instead of the, southwest side. It's 45 minutes or something from the current location. So it's not, it's not going to be out of the way for people. So that should be good. Ron Merkel, Southeast Florida needs a new track. Florida needs a lot of things, and a racetrack isn't even on the top 1,000 list of things you guys need. Sorry. But you have racetracks. You just have a long state, so it takes a while to get to and fro. The other one that caused everybody like this insane amount of hubbub was Atco. And Atco has been on the verge of closing 48 different times over the years. Just 5 years ago, I don't know how long ago, they were like, it was closing and then it was saved, and then it was closing and it was saved. And so Atco's been up, down, and all around. It's a really cool old racetrack, but it's they made the announcement like effective immediately, boom, close the doors in one day. And I don't know why. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know. I've heard reports that they got offered a bunch of money, but that it was contingent on them literally closing the gates and being done quick. I don't know. If anybody watching has the rundown, let us know. But we'll see. Wickman is in the house. Wickman says, no more Mountain View with Bandemere 2.0. Well, yeah, not close. That is true. You will not be able to look off of the mountain and have the view. Instead, you'll turn around and look at the mountain behind you. So, but yeah. Ron Ward, every time I have announced in Denver, the Bandemere family and Bruce Kamada always treated me wonderfully. I felt right at home time and time again. I couldn't agree more. I have to say the family, whether it's Sporty or John or Cody has been epic over the years. I've told this before, but when we live stream there, I literally send Cody a message the day before, and I'm like, hey, bud, I'll be there at noon. If you can, I need my normal, which is power, internet, and tap into the PA. And that dude hooks me up. They have amazing internet there. I have full gigabit Ethernet there. It's nuts. It is by far my favorite place to stream because all of the equipment at the racetrack works perfect. So while I love a bunch of other racetracks and I love going to them, it's so easy at Bandemere because all their stuff works. So I don't have to listen to anybody complain. They go, oh, the audio is junk. Yeah, well, that's not my deal, dude. I can't fix that. That's not my audio, At Bandemere, it's primo, so it's really good. We dig it there for sure. I know that Neil feels the same way. It's just so easy to set up. Where we're at, you get like people can sit next to you on the grandstands right there. It's great, no doubt. So
Yeah.
look at that. Look who's in the house.
Mr. Jake.
What is up?
He's back there contemplating all the work I need to do on his truck.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. 100%. So yeah, so the Atco deal, I don't know the details. I don't know why. I just know they did it. I will tell you that everybody lost their minds and thought it couldn't be true. And I said, well, I guess at this point, because an hour ago nobody knew it was closing, so I said, I guess at this point it's just as likely it's not. And people like got all pissed at me. They're like, why would it no, it's way less likely that it's staying. I'm like, no, if a couple hours ago nobody in their right mind thought it was going to close, and now it was announced with no explanation that it's closing, and now people are saying maybe the account was hacked. Well, if all those things are possible, then well, we'll just have to wait and see what anybody says, and it turns out it's apparently right. So Ron, I've never been to Atco. I've never been to Atco. Ron Ward says I'm really going to miss the lounge at Atco. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, those are Bandamere and Atco. I never made it to either one of them. It sucks for Bandamere. I really was looking forward to. Well, actually, because Rocky Mountain Race Week's holding their race there.
Yeah.
2.0.
If you
right?
go on 2.0.
Well, if PJ gets his car done, I'm his co-pilot, so I will get to go there. I'm excited about that.
Well, there you go. See, then we're going to have a good time there.
We are.
Neil says, I make him walk all over the place. That is true. I have a scooter now. No, Neil, I have a scooter.
I was going to say, dude,
plug it in and charge it. I have a scooter. So, the shop mini RC, what is up? He says he is in Denver and going to miss Bandamere. Wickman, who now lives in Colorado, says, wonder if the new Bandamere will have a convenience store just outside the gate. Probably not. Probably not. So, if you haven't been to Bandamere, there is a gas station, a Maverick right there next to the corner. There isn't that much out by the airport, so I guess we'll see. The shop mini RC says Californians are ruining Colorado. Apparently not. Apparently that is not the case. Despite what people in Colorado think. And the reason I say that is Californians don't drive Subarus. But you guys can't help yourselves. All you drive, dude, it is way too earth cookie in Colorado to be full of Californians. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah, Coloradoans are their own worst enemy at times too.
Exactly. Neil says business idea for Charles. He can open a convenience store just outside of the racetrack. It'll be perfect.
Look at that. Yeah, and then on the flip side, you got Redline going away for the third time, and
that's the one that for us is local. That one's tough. Is that Redline Raceway? You guys have heard us talk about it in recent months because it just came back, and it is going away yet again. For those of you that don't know the history, ownership has changed hands, but only like once or twice. But management has changed hands multiple times, as the owners have never really, they've never been engaged in the management of it. They've always just said like, oh, if you want to run it and make some money and send it and it'll be. So it feels to me like it's never been anybody real serious about doing that, and I could be wrong. That's just me going by my gut, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know all the details of what happened this time. I know that the first time it happened, there was a whole bunch of hoopla. There was a partnership dissolution in the ownership of the property, and there were all kinds of stories. That place has more gossip going around it than anything I've ever experienced. It's almost as bad as when Texas Raceway closed down because of that housing deal that Mansfield basically shoved them into that
Right.
they got screwed on.
Yep.
And yeah, the new owners came in. It took like, I think it took like 8 years before anybody. And then Lump, was it Lump that bought
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, Brian
Or
Lump
leased it?
Well,
Yeah,
he leased it, is my understanding. And again, I'm only
yeah,
speaking on what I have
yeah, yeah.
been
I
told
think
through
he
the
leased it.
grapevine. I am by no means the authority, but
Yeah,
my understanding was um, the um, that that Lump leased the track.
yeah,
I know that he did a bunch of stuff to it,
he did.
trying to make it better. And I don't know what all happened that made him, step away from it. Um, it it never seems to gain the traction there that I think it should. Um, it's weird because um, so Redline is in Cato Mills, and it is no further from downtown Dallas than XRP is from downtown Dallas, and XRP packs the place every single Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Redline's always struggled to have a big crowd there. So I don't know
Well,
what it is.
and that's what's weird. Like, because back in the day, it had a huge following, and it really, like in the early 2000s, you would go there. They used to hold a lot of good races, though. They have Outlaw 10-5 and
Yep.
Outlaw Street was a big thing, and they would pack out there.
Yeah.
And that's what surprised everybody when it closed down the first time. It's like, dude, this place is thriving. Like, why would you shut it down?
And I
And
remember back then we used to go
yeah,
all the time.
dude, they had no curfew. I mean, that was the thing that sucked because back then we had North Star, we had Kennedale, Texas Raceway, and we had Ennis, and we had Redline. And of course you had, you've always got Yellow Belly, but
Right.
That's a different style of racing, different demographic, people, cars, and all that kind
I
of stuff.
wanted to go this Thursday, and I'm going to be gone, and I was going to see if you wanted to go, but we'll have to go
Oh,
next
really?
week. Let's go
Okay.
next Thursday.
Yeah. It's just but when it closed down, everybody was like, man, dude, that really, it was kind of a blow. And it sucked because we would occasionally go out there and, test it late at night because guys, we street race and stuff wouldn't be out there,
Right.
And, this go around here, it really sucks because I know Brian and his crew put a ton of effort and work into trying to get that place to turn around, and
Right.
they had some great ideas. I mean, they were doing they had some drift deal. They had all kinds of stuff
Right.
that they were trying to use the facility for, whether it be the drag strip or the parking lot or whatever.
Right. Yep.
And those are things that other people had never really thought about doing. So I thought for sure this thing's going to really get some traction behind it. But, we were talking about this yesterday or the day before, and, because you have all these tracks closing down. So your first thought is why? Is it, because you got people who are on the conspiracy theory of this is just the EPA and the government cracking down and trying to get rid of the hobby we call hot rodding. Then you got the ones that say that, well, property prices are so high. Why would you turn down millions of dollars for property that's worth millions and billions of dollars, right? So there's that. But on the flip side of it, I think there's something else that we're missing here, and it just comes down to the core of what hot rodding is, and that is getting off your ass and getting to the track. And there are so many content creators out there. That's the business that you're in. That's what I'm trying to create for myself. But you think about it this way, like you watch Big Jake's race, right? Like one of the big grudge races. There's like 10 channels that are filming live that event from 90 different angles.
Yep.
So you can quite literally sit on your fat ass at home eating a scone in the AC when it's 300 degrees outside while your wife rubs your feet watching the same thing. And as good as that is, I think it creates, obviously technology creates laziness in people, right?
Right.
And I think that has changed the culture of our lifestyle, hot rodding, drag racing, the whole nine.
Well, and the interesting thing though is that, like, you use Jake's race as the example. That race has a jillion spectators at it, right? Sometimes you have a race that has that much digital coverage, and people go, "Oh, well, that's why there's no spectators," right? Or it keeps the spectators from coming, so I don't want you live streaming my race, right?
Right.
I don't agree with that. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case for your average, drag racing events.
Right.
But I do believe that, like the shop mini RC he put up, the car culture is slowly dying. I don't think it's dying.
It's changing.
But I think it is changing. And I think that there are a lot of people who used to go to their local drag strip or to their Good Guys show or whatever in order to get their car fix, and now they have the internet, and so they are getting it there. Now, with that said, those are the what I'm going to call the casual fans, okay? And I realize that, and this is going to piss some of the people off that are watching this, but 99% of the people that say that they're like hardcore car people they're not into cars at all in comparison to me. They're not even, like, again, they don't even count, right? You're not even in the same planet, not the same solar system, right?
Right.
Now, with that said, I still think that the people that are watching this right now are all the type of people that are going to go to racetracks and go to car shows and what have you. But think of all the car people that are casual, enthusiasts who they may go to one or two special events a year, but they're not going to go to their local track and support it. And unfortunately, your local track, whether it's Redline or it's Mooresville in North Carolina, where, Biggin and them are doing a private test session tonight. Otherwise, Eric was going to be on the show tonight. But anyway, that's a little podunk racetrack. If you come to the racetrack and buy a cheeseburger or a hot dog or a beer and hang out and watch for a couple hours, that helps that racetrack. You don't have to come and race, right? I wish everybody went and raced, but just going is a big deal. But think about it. People are not supporting. It's not just racing. Valerie says, honestly, very few are into cars like you. I understand that. And I appreciate that for sure. I do. I get that. But it's not just cars. Okay. So, movies, right? Movie theaters. I have started going to the movies again with my mom and dad recently. We all really dig movies, and there is nothing better than eating movie popcorn and watching a movie on the big giant screen. I don't give a shit how good your surround sound system is or how big your TV is in your house. It is not the same as going to the movies. And, but because of all of the streaming services, now you can watch a movie that, is in the theater right now on your TV, right? Or a week or two later. And, it used to be that you had to wait for it to come out on DVD, which was 6 months or a year, right? Now you can just watch it. So there are a lot of people that think the comfort of their couch, or, I get up and go, take a leak if I want to, or my kids, interrupt me or whatever. Well, you're doing it wrong, because one of the reasons you go with your spouse to the movies is to get away from your dumb children. I mean, hello, date night is so you can go, oh my God, I don't want to kill our children right now because they're not with us, right? Like, hello, okay, all of those things, right? Well, it's not just cars. It's everything in our lives have become tied to this thing that we're talking to right now.
100%.
And you know what I'm saying? And this,
it's 100%. You're 100% right. It's ever since, and it goes as far as just even my job, right? Me and my wife were talking the other day about, how this piece of equipment and this tool that we're using right now is great for something like this because me and you will probably hang out next week, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
but when you haven't seen somebody in your office in person in a year and a half, and this person continues to talk to you through this, it loses all meaning.
Right.
You can't read body language. You can't, and reading body language is 50% of communicating with a human being.
100%.
So, when it comes to looking at everything as a whole, and drag racing is the topic that we're talking about, but you got to look at it holistically and stand back and just take a whole view in. Ever since 2020 happened, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It's changed all of our mindsets, and some for the better,
right,
and some for the worse.
Right.
And it's a damn shame when you have a track like North Star that was great and people started complaining about $20 gate fees. And but they were setting records. I mean, you're at a track where they're setting records in radial, and you're bitching about $20, $25 to get in the track.
100%.
And then you got XRP, and XRP is great. It's a fantastic facility. I go there and I feel like I could get a mani and a petty and watch racing and do all that kind of
stuff.
But guess what? It's got zero soul. It has zero soul there.
Right.
And if you get past 7 o'clock, you're waiting an hour and a half to make a pass.
Right.
We were just there a month ago, and we sat in the lanes for an hour and 35 minutes trying to make a pass.
Yeah.
Like, who the hell wants to do that? You spend all that money in your truck, your trailer, your race car, your gas, your nitrous, and then drive out there, pay to get in. Yeah, you get to park on concrete, and the PA system's great, but you're in the lanes for an hour and a half, twiddling your thumbs in your suit, sweating your ass off for no reason. And then you get up there and make a bad pass, and guess what? You just want to load up and go home because you don't want to sit through that again.
Right.
I
understand. And
it's frustrating, man.
And we will, just so that people understand, we will be at XRP on Saturday.
Yeah.
Testing and racing and having a good time, supporting the racetrack. There is no doubt, but
absolutely. That's what happens when you run out of racetracks. Is the one or two you get are full, and that's just and then when everybody gets their car done and they were not going to the track and supporting the track for the last year and a half because they were building their car and only concerned about them and what they're doing and not the sport holistically. When they get their car done, they're complaining because they're sitting in the lane for an hour and a half. Well, where were you?
Right.
Where were you?
100%. And that's the thing that makes me angry, and I end up getting, you've heard me, I get snappy with people about it when they bitch about stuff that they absolutely were in control of, or because they could have been going to another place, what I mean? So,
well, and it goes along with like Valerie says, people are less likely to leave the home for anything these days. Look at groceries or a meal, right?
Yes. Well, that goes with what Ron Ward just said right here. Talk about it. I'll be right back. I gotta let Otis in.
Yeah, you think about it this way. You've got Walmart will shop for you, and then they'll just come deliver your groceries to your door. It's you take the aspect of I have to do something, I have to get up, I have to go, and then I have to make good decisions on what I'm doing, and I have to make smart decisions with my money instead of just sitting there on your phone and on your app and just tapping and tapping and tapping away. And ever since we moved out here, we don't have those kind of services here. Nobody delivers. We get Amazon occasionally and UPS, but nobody delivers food. Nobody delivers groceries. And we got back to doing life the way we used to do it. And my God, man, I feel more alive now than I did 6 months ago.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a shame, but I hope people start going back to the track. I hope people start getting out and doing things because it's, you only get one life to live, man. It goes sliding on by quicker than shit. And, if we don't hold on to the things that are true to our hearts and that we value, then man, they'll go away. They'll go away.
Chewy, what's up? I have to tell you that I think I think the one part of all of this that we don't convey enough is, and this may be off by 1 or 2 or 3 right now, but generically speaking, okay, there are, for the last 15 years anyway, there have been more racetracks operating in the United States of America than at any time in history.
Mhm.
So while we are losing racetracks and everybody, yells and screams, know that there are still other racetracks that have come that weren't around before, et cetera, et cetera. So, all hope is not lost, right? So, and, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise, urban crawl is happening, right? Cities get bigger.
Yep.
And when they do, people's houses move in places, and drag strips are just one of those places. So are small airports, so are farms, so are all kinds of things that that get bulldozed and pushed out, and they build houses, right? Like, nobody bitches when a dairy closes or when that cornfield is turned into houses. Like, nobody bitches about that,
Right.
But you should be thinking about that as well.
They bitch about when the prices go up in produce.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why is hamburger so much more expensive? Why is this? Why is that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And I'm of the mindset that, I mean, you and I've had these conversations before. Like, am I the guy that's going to own an electric vehicle? No. Okay.
Nope.
But you know what? We don't need to be fighting about the electric vehicles. Nobody gives a shit what we say anyway.
No.
Focus your energy on something we can do, like keeping racetracks alive by going to them and spending money instead of sitting at home and bitching and moaning on social media how you're somehow an expert on EVs and everything else, or the grid, or any of the other dumb bullshit. Shut your mouth and go actually be a car guy, or a car girl in the case of Valerie, who does more car stuff than anybody on this list, by the way.
Well, hey, it goes back to the simple thing. When you were a kid in school, right?
Yeah.
There are 2 types of people that when they got into a fight, there's the one that barked, and then there's the one that did the punching.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Which one was more effective?
Right.
Yeah. So get your ass out there and do something instead of talking about it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Lead by example, not by bumping your gums. Just go. Like, and that's the thing. Like, with my kids, you've been around my kids, right? And like, one of them's into cars, one of them's not, right?
Right.
I mean, he's just only into one particular car, 69 Camaro, and he won't be satisfied until I produce some type of 69 Camaro in front of his eyes, right?
When I show up one day with mine at your house and tell him to get in, he's going to lose his mind.
Oh, he'll die. He'll die and immediately want me to spend whatever money I have to get a carcass of the 69 Camaro, because it's all I could afford. But but the other one, he's all into it. Man, this past Saturday night, Jake I broke Jake in. I took him to the street and we went and tested with Dave.
Right.
And I know there's track guys who are totally against the street, and I get it, totally get it. But I cut my teeth on the street, so that's where my heart is. And I wanted him to go, and it was so cool seeing Carson, Dave's kid, and my kid working on the car, backing him into getting him into his tracks. Like, we're teaching them how to check the tire pressure, how to check the lugs, go back and check over this, check over that. And, teaching them how to stand in the track and back the person in and hold the light in the right spot. And they did a fantastic job. They did a really good job. And it was awesome watching it, because that's what needs to happen. Get out, do stuff. And if you have kids or grandkids or whatever, don't force them to do it. But if they show interest, go out of your way to make sure that you involve them in it, however the hell that is. And even if it isn't your kid, if it's a kid down the street who wants to come stand there and lick a lollipop while you work on your hot rod, don't shoo them away. Let them stand. And
I disagree with one thing you said when you said don't force them. So here's the thing. I know what you meant, and you're right on the one hand, but here's the deal. Every single parent, well, except me, but every normal parent went, oh yes, you're going to go do Little League, or you're going to go play soccer, or you're going to go whatever, right? and every normal parent made their kid go try, even if they weren't into it, just to go be in a team sport or whatever, right? And if your kid didn't like, Little League, you didn't, necessarily make them, continue to play, but you forced the exposure to it, okay, Absolutely. Is what I'm going to say, right?
Yes.
Well, so do the same thing with car stuff, right? I mean, one of the reasons, like, everybody wants to act like kids aren't into cars nowadays and it's just some magical thing. I don't know why. Well, it's real easy. It's the same reason as everything else your kid isn't into anymore. It's because at some point, parents decided, instead of saying, hey, dude, get cleaned up, get dressed, we're going and doing this weekend, right? Or we're going and doing this today. We're going to the rockery, we're going to the nursery, we're going to the auto parts store. We're doing whatever it is that dad is doing is what you are doing today. At some point, we decided, instead of telling our children what they were doing and where they were going, you decided to ask them, do you want to go to the... No. And you know what? I didn't want to go to certain of those things either, but you know what? I did, because my parents said, well, this is where we're going. Okay. There was no like, oh, let's see. Like, I didn't get to go dick around on Saturday until I did all the chores that had to be done at the, on our property, until all the animals are fed, until I welded the pole barn together, whatever it was. That's how it worked. So you don't give, Mike Cunningham said it doesn't help when the kids don't want to run the farm either. You know what? Kids didn't have a choice. Like, when you go to college and you're done with college, if you don't want to run the family farm, knock yourselves out. But until you don't need money from mom and dad, your dumbass is going to be working the farm. Like, that's how life really should work. But somewhere along the lines, we decided,
everybody
no.
Gets a choice.
We're going to let them pick.
I don't want Jimmy to get a complex. I want him to do whatever makes his little heart's desire. No. I mean, okay. So here's a prime example. We are now the proud owner of 2 ducks. Okay. Yeah, ducklings.
Yes.
Okay? The kids had to have ducklings. Okay?
Yes.
And so I said, no, I don't want ducks. We're not having ducks. And I offered up a fully automatic BB gun that shot 1,400 rounds per minute, or per whatever.
Yeah.
And they really liked the BB gun, but then they decided they wanted the ducklings. And so I said, cool, you guys get the ducklings. Mom was like, hey, they really want them. Let's get them. So, okay, I'm not touching the ducklings. That's not my deal. They need to be changed. Their bedding needs to be changed out every day. They got to be fed. They got to be watered. They got to be ready to go. And that's in the morning and then in the evening.
Yeah.
And every day they get up, they go out, they take care of their ducks. When they get done with dinner, they go out, they take care of their ducks. When we started this, they were outside taking care of their ducks. And that's, there's a couple times they're like, oh, no. You don't get to do that because you made the decision.
Yes.
To the ducks.
And the ducks are live and they rely on you to stay that way. So it is
just like job. You did, my little ducklings. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Just gotta keep pounding away, man. Whatever it is you love, whatever it is you do, whether it's cars, knitting, painting, whatever. You just gotta keep doing it.
There are going to be things that your kids decide they love to do that aren't things that you love to do or that you introduced them to, and that's okay. And if your kid decides they're not into cars, just like if they're not into Little League, that's okay, right?
Yeah.
But if that's what you do, then as a family, you do it, and again, they don't need to love it, but they need to at least respect it and all that. And who knows, right? Yep. I mean, like you said, you got 2 boys. They're both awesome. Okay. But it doesn't matter if they're both into cars forever. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't. So,
No, if it's something that Jake carries on, I hope he carries on the tradition.
Yeah.
I hope I plant the seed. I think more than anything, what I think is most important that I think people sometimes don't pay attention to I know that they know it in their core, and I know that they know it in the back of their mind, but that people don't understand. Sometimes they don't pay attention or expose, maybe is the better word, the benefit of the car world, and it is always the friendships that you gain.
Oh, 100%. It's the
And
people.
it's the people, it's the culture. And I think that even with Jake, he wants to know more about cars, and in time he will learn that. I will teach him what I know, and the people around me can teach him what they know, and they will gain their own knowledge within that. But at the end of the day, the allure is the people.
Yes. I mean,
The
yeah,
cars.
Jake wants to come and hang out with us because it's all of us hanging out.
Yeah,
You
what
know?
what 11-year-old is like,
Yeah.
I want to go hang out with your friends.
And that's how I was. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how I was with Dad and his buddies. I mean,
Yep.
that's what we did,
Yep.
But I also think that, it's harder to do it that way, right?
It is.
It's much easier to just let your kid have the iPad or the cell phone or the TV and not have to watch them. Like,
Sure.
the truth of the matter is, it would be easier for us to go to the races, whether it's on the street or at the racetrack, without Jake being there.
Correct.
That would be easier to do. You would never have to pay attention. You don't need to keep him alive.
Yep.
You don't need to be afraid for your own life when you lose him because you know your wife is going to kill you. Like, all those things, right, are easier when there's no, when there's no kid around, right?
Right.
But he's awesome and he's great to be around and it's fun having him and he's cool being around with all of us. He is like, and it's so that part of it is fun. But again,
I told him, I was like, look, I said, you get to do these things because you show me that you have the maturity to do it. You listen to me when you need to. There are times that you don't, but
right.
Hey, we all have selective hearing at times, right?
Yes.
And I understand that puberty happens and you're going to have your own opinions and whatnot. And that's great. But when it comes down to it, you listen and you pay attention and you're mature, and that's why you get to do these things. And I'm like, there are not many kids that get to go out with a twin turbo Mustang and go make hits on a virgin road.
Right.
And chooses to try to make that car work, and you get to watch it, experience it, and film it.
Right.
And be a part of it, And so I wished I could have been that cool. There he is right behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could have been that cool. What are you doing? Sneaking behind me.
Well, you know what? Chadwick's on here. He says this is good. As fathers, if we want our kids to connect to our hobbies, we have to connect to our kids. There you go.
Absolutely.
And you need to drag them along.
Yep.
And he says that he's ditched his car buddies to grow his son's excitement. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Absolutely. 100%. But I'll tell you that there are life lessons that you learn. And in our example, it's the car world, right? But again, it's really the people. Like, so, I'm not going to get into the details, but Ryan will know what I'm talking about here is that, like, he and I and Jake went to a car show like 6 months ago or whatever, and on the road we had a conversation about hanging out with the dudes, right? And it was a life lesson moment, like, that only happens when you're hanging out and it just happens, right? Yeah. It's not I gotta go have a talk with my kid, or I gotta, it isn't. It's like, here's this circumstance happened, and by the way, teachable moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was the one that brought up the lesson. You were like, yes, right? And it's the whole, it takes a village. Like, that's for real, right? When you're a car guy, like, all of the dudes that were my dad's buddies, who were like extra dads, right? Like, that's all part of it. You know what I mean? And you knew that you had to listen to them just like you did to your dad. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a little more afraid. I think he might hit me harder, Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But see, that's the key, man. Is that I hope there's more people out there doing. I know that people in the chat that watch this, I know that they probably are doing the same thing if they have kids or grandkids, but I hope people outside the realm that we reach are doing the same thing, because I'd hate to ever see the hobby of hot rodding or drag racing or any kind of racing. I don't even care what kind of racing it is. As long as somebody's racing a car. And you know what I mean? Like that was That was the first piece of Americana when two guys got two cars and they figured out they could race each other. That was when we really started living. And I think people lose sight of that, and I hope they figure out how to hang on to it and keep it going.
You know, I've always tell everybody, I'm going to bash on you if you're a Ford guy or whatever, because I'm a
Absolutely.
Chevrolet guy. But that's the same as if you're a Raiders fan and a White Sox fan, or a
Bash on
those
Dudley
don't go
Bailey,
together.
Dodge guy.
Raiders and the Chiefs. Okay,
Yeah.
those are football teams.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's just part of it, right? But
Yeah.
if you're as into your Mustang as I am into my Camaro, then you're okay in my book, you know.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna expect that you're gonna give me a ration of crap, just like I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah, that means
you know?
we're both equally mentally challenged and we have
Yes.
the same issues and probably should see the
Exactly.
same psychiatrist.
I think I would be a good psychiatrist. Maybe
I think
that's
at
what
times I would too. I think
Yeah.
that would also drive people to make really, really rash and bad decisions that I thought would be good.
But that might be good. I mean, for our world.
Could be. You never know. Hey, you don't know until you know. You know?
Exactly. I have a friend who's very fond of saying, like, I'll try anything at least 3 times. You know?
Oh yeah, you got it. Yeah, 3 times, absolutely, because it can be done wrong twice. It can be done wrong twice.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. If you go 3 and out, it's done. It's pretty well done. Yeah, it's pretty well done.
That's awesome.
But you didn't. Hey, you didn't talk about your project.
Oh yes. Okay. Before we end the evening, so as a reminder, not tomorrow, Thursday, 2 p.m. Central Time, around 2 p.m. Central Time, we are. I'm gonna go live on the Bang Shift YouTube channel, or Facebook, maybe both. Actually, maybe both.
This is tomorrow, not Thursday.
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 Yes, Thursday. I am picking up a new project, and I'm going to give you guys a tour of the wrecking yard where I'm picking it up. I don't know if I should tell people what it is or not. Just
give us 3. Okay, give us 3 hints.
Oh, okay.
And then everybody go over to the Bang Shift Facebook page or wherever you got them
wherever you're at now, and make a comment with what you think it's going to be.
There we go.
Wickman, I will light your truck on fire that is currently at my place. If you say, and Neil already knows he can't say, and Neil knows he doesn't want to do it. So 3 things about it. Okay, number 1, it seats 6 to 8 people. Okay. Number 2, let's see. It is younger than I am by, let's see, how old is it? Oh, should I say the age? Maybe I shouldn't.
Give us a between.
Okay, it's between 40 and 50 years old.
Between 40 and 50.
Okay. And your mom is asking how many doors. Ray Shannon is saying long roof. How many doors? Should I give them that? No, I'm not going to give you the doors.
No, give us the power plant.
Current or
that it would have come with. 40 to 50 years old, seat 6, and would have came with a
350.
Ooh.
Or something else that this one actually has.
I'm gonna say it's a 3-door Suburban.
No.
Damn it.
I'll send you what it is though.
Well, there you go, folks. You got to make your guess now. What do they win if whoever nails it on the head gets the year right and the make and model? What do they win?
Neil Sabo is like $350? I know. Neil, shut your mouth.
And see, but that year it could be a 350 Chevy, it could be a 350 Buick.
That's true. It is not a Skylark wagon.
Okay.
Wickman's an idiot. I love you though. Wickman's all jacked up. He hurt himself because he flipped his car over and they had to cut him out of it.
I think we got a
Not
spammer
kidding.
in here.
I know. Well, I don't know. He actually asked a question before.
Oh,
He's
okay.
just, I think he's just from Germany, and so he's
Oh, okay.
typing some in German and some in English.
I got you.
Okay, hold on. I gotta find the picture to send.
Volvo.
Do what?
Volvo.
Volvo. No.
Let's fix to look up. Do Volvos come with 350?
No, they
so.
do not. But I am going to. I'm sending it to you right now. Oh, I will tell you something else that I'm picking up. Ooh. Big Block Bob, a shaggin' van. Ooh, I love where your
Mother
head's
of
at.
Mary.
Barry K, a 79 G20 van. I love you a lot for that. Stuart Clifton asking, does it have sliding doors? Van, people, van. Oh, I love you guys the way you think. I do love vans. I mean, you guys know that. So, but you now know what it is.
I do.
And it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
I will tell you guys all, I will say it's going to get, well, by Chad standards, it's getting very minor modifications. By normal people standards, it's getting all the things done, probably. But
yeah,
but it's going to be. It is not a race car. I will say that also. Dude, Neil Sabo, Le Car, yes, Le Car.
Short bus,
Big Block Bob. I already own a school bus, Big Block Bob, as you well know. Yeah, Ray Shannon with the Vista Cruiser, that would be awesome too.
E150 Ford van with a blown up 350 in the back.
There you go, Wickman. Nobody said it ran on the 350. It just came with one.
It came with one.
Actually, oh yeah, Wickman did already donate parts for it. Yeah, I will tell you in a minute something else about it. But yeah, so there you go. So 2:00 Thursday. Look for updates. I'll fill you in if it's going to push that, but it'll be somewhere around the 2:00 time frame. I will be live from Great Bend, Kansas at Nobody Else's Auto with Chad Ehrlich from Nobody Else's Show, or Nobody's Show, sorry, on YouTube. And I will have Walt, my dad, with me, Judy, my mom will be with me, and Otis the shop dog. So we will all be there, and we will be touring the wrecking yard, and you guys will get to say, to tell us to go look at certain areas of the wrecking yard. It's going to be good. Taco truck, Neil Sabo. God damn you. I love you so much. I would love to own a taco truck.
Boy, taco truck would be great.
Barry K, are you installing USB ports as a customization? Yes and no. Yes, I'm installing them. No, not as a customization. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to watch it back, dude. I'm actually I'm gonna be indisposed on Thursday.
In where?
I'll be indisposed.
Oh, indisposed.
Yeah. At that time.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Okay.
But at least I know what it is.
Yeah.
Now I'm excited.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I'm also very jealous.
Well, then I'm going to say we're going to call it a night, everybody. Again, tune in Thursday, 2 p.m. Central on Facebook and YouTube. We're going to stream to one or both right here live, again, with Chad Ehrlich from Nobody's Show. So go check his channel out. You are going to get to see a bunch of awesome stuff. Chad, you need... Oh, Wickman, you're such a dick, and I love you for this. Yes, you need to walk by it while live feeding and not say anything about it, making people guess. That's a great idea. Okay.
That is a great idea.
Yes, so we're going to let you guess, and then we'll unveil it after we walk around the wrecking yard for a while. That's a good idea. I like that.
There you go.
All right. Well, Ryan, dude, thank you for joining me tonight again.
Thanks for having me.
We are going to try and do this every other Tuesday from here on out. And so everybody that's watching right now, mark your calendars. We are going to try and make that a thing Ray Shannon International Carryall. That's a good vehicle as well.
That
I
was
like
a
that.
solid.
Monty Fitzgerald in the house. What is up? What is up? But yeah, so thank you so much, Ryan. Again, folks, Streetcar Chronicles on YouTube. Go check out Ryan's stuff. It's all goofy and funny and adventures. It's not, I mean, there is some working on the car, but really it's more the adventures and the fun involved with going out and having a good time, either on the streets, at the racetrack, car shows, whatever.
In the shop, whatever.
Yeah. It's a good time for sure. You'll dig it. So, don't go anywhere, Ryan.
Yeah.
But everybody else, it's been fun. It's been real fun. It's been all the fun. We will see you next time on the next edition.
Get to your racetracks now.
Yes, get to your racetracks. Get there now.
Hurry.
See ya.